it comes to my channel, I usually do narration to tell fictional stories written by other people. But throughout my life, I've had plenty of things happen to me that are probably great horror stories within themselves. So I figure I'm going to make a little bit of a mini series here where I tell you guys some of my stories. So allow me to be your crypt keeper and tell you some of the strange shit that has happened throughout my entire life. I've already told you guys a story about when I went camping with a bunch of friends. I think I was 19 that year too, same year that this story happened. And it was a pretty eventful year. But this story takes place in the winter of 2007. And it's a story I call the Blizzard Warning. I was working at a pizza place here in town. I'm not going to say the name of it, but I worked there since I was 16. I was 19 at the time. And anytime it snows, we get a bunch of pizza orders. It's kind of just the way it works. I wasn't a driver because I had a 1986 rusted out shitbox of a Firebird, so I was a cook. It was already a long night, and it had been snowing most of the day, and we were wrapping up the closing shift, so it was probably around midnight when we were getting out of there, and the blizzard was starting to rage. It was just falling snow. There was no real wind. It was just steady falling snow. And it was a struggle just to get out to my car because the snow was so deep, and it was so cold. But I get in, and I have trouble firing up my car, but it eventually turns over. And I get out and I start clearing off all my windows, and I hop back in. And back then, I was 19. I was more concerned with fashion than function. I had just a hoodie and a thinly lined leather jacket. Not suitable for the cold weather, but I was shaking. My hands were numb. I turned on my radio, which didn't work. But I did have a CD player, and I had a vast collection of burned CDs. If you're from back in that time, if you know, you know. That's the best way I could put it. But it already had a CD loaded into it, and my CD player had this quirk of picking up right where it left off. But it also had this rare problem of skipping. And the last song I left off on was Take the Long Way Home by Supertramp. And the freaky part of where all this started to happen was the song would start skipping when they were saying the title of the song. So it was like, Take the Long Way Home. And it would buzz and skip, and it would repeat the same line. Take the long way home. Buzz, skip, take the long way home. Now, I'd always been taught by my mother that if God takes the time to have the universe warn you or send you a sign, it's always best to heed that warning. So I'm sitting there laughing to myself, shivering, fingers still numb. I couldn't believe that I was actually considering, in this major blizzard, probably the worst one that I'd ever driven in at that point in time in my life, that I was going to take the long way home. So I put my car in reverse, I back out of the lot, and I drive down the industrial road there, and I get to a crossroads where if I take the right, it's my normal route home. I get there in about 5-10 minutes, not a big deal. If I go to the left, it's at least a 30-minute drive, especially in that kind of weather and with my lovely car. I look down the road and I see a plow truck making its way toward me, and it's clearing the road that's going to my house. But it's about a quarter mile away, so, it was going to get stuck at the light and I was going to be in front of it. So I sat there and I debated for probably about 20 seconds, and I relented. I was like, I'll heed the warning and I'll take the long way home. So I turned left. I'm driving down the highway, and I'm seeing like abandoned cars everywhere. Cars that either gotten wrecked or lost traction and spun off the road. It looked like something out of a zombie apocalypse movie. But as I had predicted, it took me about 30 minutes to get home. I get there, strip off all my clothes, put on some gym shorts, and turn on my TV in my room, and I'm passed out in probably 5-10 minutes. Now, the freaky part to this story comes the next morning. I was making breakfast, and my mom was watching the local news. It was talking about the storm. And I overheard that there was a fatal crash where a plow truck smashed into 5 cars at the bottom of the hill. And the first car that it hit had 3 occupants, and 2 of them died. The third was critically injured. So I go out to the living room, and I just remember seeing a plow truck right before I turned left, and I would have turned right in front of this. So I'm like, there's no way that was the same plow truck. And then they show the accident, and it's on the same road that I would have taken on my way home. So take it from me, kids. If you learn anything from this story, it's that when God sends you a sign, the universe sends you a warning, it's always best to heed it. Because listening could mean the difference between making it home or not. But that's all I have for you guys in this video. Take care, stay safe, have a great week, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.